I didn't say you did. Back off. My goodness. Wow.
What a bitch.
What the fuck?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Got a little carried away with the sound bites to start the show. You know, if you're new to this program, I like to play sound bites to kick things off, to really give you an idea of what to expect. I got that idea from, in a way, I got it from my buddy Sean Drotar of Mile High Sports. I had him on when I was covering the Super Bowl in Vegas this past year, and we were talking, and he's like, why don't you say bad words to start off the show so people really know what to expect? I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't want to just start the show with, hey, fuckers, ah! And then, you know, that'd be just weird. Like, that's my catchphrase. You know, make a t-shirt that just says, hey, fuckers. I don't want to do that. I took that idea and morphed it into, let's just play funny sound bites to start things off. So that's what I like to do. Sometimes it's easier said than done. If there's something that kind of relates to a upcoming story, I try to do that. But if you're new to this show and you're like, oh, I heard from Scotty's mommy that he has a podcast, I should check it out. Oh, let's see. Harold, how do I hit the play button? He's like, just click on the goddamn play button, you dumb bitch. Oh, okay. Fuck you, Harold. Anyway, let's see. How do I do this? Oh, there we go.
Stay clear of the breakfast burritos. Too much of the chilaquiles.
Oh, it's a food program, Harold. Oh, it's still going.
What a
what?
bitch.
Oh, well, this is troubling.
I didn't do fucking shit.
Harold, my heart is stopping, you son of a bitch. This Scott D. Huff is a terrible human being. Anyway.
What the fuck?
That went on longer than I planned, and I apologize. Hope you guys are having a great day. And listen, hopefully you'll laugh a little bit in this episode. Make sure you hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. Also, don't forget today's show is presented to you by the great people over at Bet Online. In fact, Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Now, if you think you know your stuff, go to Bet Online's $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every single week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of that $200,000. Now, when the games are all over, head on over to their online casino, get in on the game of blackjack or poker, or even unwind with one of their over 150 slot games. Go to betonline.ag right now to get in on the action. It's Bet Online. The game starts here. Boy, that felt good. I got to be honest. My nipples are a little rock hard. If somebody had glass right here, I'd go ahead and etch their name. I think that would be hard if your nipples were that hard where you could etch your name into something. I think that would be hard to write your signature. I should try that. I'll put some ink on my nipples. Next time I see you, I'll try to sign something for you, okay? It'll be fun. We won't tell your significant other about it. It'll just happen. You're like, hey, the Huff, I got an ink pad right here. Oh, come here. Let's check this out. All right. Who do I make this out to? Carol. All right, Carol. There you go. And then let me make sure I cross. Yeah, there we go. Oh. Hey, don't break eye contact with me when I do this. It helps. Just trust me. It helps. Anyway, it got really awkward to start things off. Know what we need to do? Let's smooth it out. Let's jump into some headlines.
Let's go! Let's go!
And now, here are the headlines.
I'd like to apologize for the first 5 minutes of the show. But anyway, moving along. Hey, I feel really sorry for these residents of this home in California. Okay? This is the headline. I don't think you need anything else other than the headline, and you can feel their pain. Because I don't know what I would do in this situation. It says rattlesnake enters California home, traps residents upstairs. They were trapped in a bedroom waiting for emergency crews to come rescue them. I know if you're a snake person, you just sit at sit and listen to this or look at this and go, that's stupid. What a bunch of pussies, right? My goodness. It's not that big of a deal.
What a bitch.
It is a big deal. If you don't know how to handle snakes, that's a deadly snake. And I guess in a sense, this could happen to anybody, depending on the size of the snake, depending on if you have like a doggy door or whatever. It could happen. And if you don't know how to handle snakes, this would scare the shit out of me. And eventually, so like I said, they had an app on their phone that would allow them to unlock their front door. So emergency crews could get in there and then they could take care of the snake. Listen, as silly as that sounds, I fully believe in what they did in the situation that they were involved in, and I believe that was scary. Because I don't know what I would do. I'd feel really dumb, though, if it turned out to be like a garter snake. I'd be mad about that. And it kind of reminds me, speaking of that, so I want to say like 2 weeks ago, my son, who is a social butterfly, was talking to one of our neighbors across the street. And the neighbor's like, oh, Jackson, you got to check this out. Look at this little snake that I found. And it wasn't perverted. God, get your head out of the gutter. Jesus Christ. So what? It was an actual snake, not anybody's genitalia. God, guys, what is wrong with you? But anyway, so my son comes over and he's like, Dad, check this out. It was like a baby little snake. And I was like, go, my heart's pounding. I'm like, go put it into the field across the street. So he does. My wife takes a picture of it and blah, blah, blah. So I posted this on Facebook and Twitter. I also sent a text to Chad Brown, who is a world-known snake expert. Okay? So I sent him this picture, and everybody else starts commenting on it, and they're like, dude, that's a rattlesnake. Or, dude, that is a bull snake. And I'm like, shit. Then I ask, like I said, I talked to Chad Brown, who has a company where he ships reptiles. I believe his company is We Ship Reptiles. Check him out, WeShipReptiles.com, right? Great guy, great company, great group of people. They know their stuff. Now, based on what he saw in the picture, he said that looks like a garter snake and completely harmless. I'm like, okay, good. So then I start reading everybody's comments on social media, like, dude, that ain't no garter snake. That there is a rattlesnake or a bull snake. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, fuck, was Chad wrong? So I Google local snakes in around where I live in the Thornton, Colorado area, and sure as shit, guess what pops up? The western terrestrial garter snake looks very similar to as far as color goes, it looks very similar to rattlesnakes and bull snakes. And it looks exactly like what my son was fucking holding, and Chad Brown was correct. I have these people fucking arguing with me. I'm like, Chad Brown said it's a garter snake. No, I know stuff. I'm an accountant. I know what garter snakes look like, and I know what rattlesnakes look like. That's a rattlesnake. Yeah, I'll trust you. Go back to your number crunching, nerd. God, who am I going to believe? Who am I going to believe? And it was just funny because I was like, man, like Chad at the top of his head, like was able to analyze the head, the body, the patterns, everything, and go, no. That's a garter snake. And then sure as shit, when I look it up, it's a western terrestrial garter snake that is very common around here. And people mistake it all the time for bull snakes and rattlesnakes. So fuck off. I was like, shit, man. Oh, it's funny. It's just classic. Have you ever seen that meme on social media? Somebody will post it every now and then. This is a rock, and this proves that people will argue about anything. And then it's just, people will jokingly argue. That's the great example. You got people arguing about things that they don't know. It's the same thing with fucking politics. Like, people just start making shit up. Oh my God. That's the other thing I can't stand about social media right now. There's so many people posting bogus stuff on one party or the other. And it's clear. And I'm like, wow, did that really happen? Then I search for it, and it's like nowhere to be found. But it's allegedly on this website. And there's people posting fake shit constantly. And I'm like, that never happened. It's so frustrating. Social media. If I didn't need to use social media for my business, I wouldn't. I think I would just do a total cleanse. That's why I don't have my Instagram at DeHuff anymore, because I tried to do a cleanse several years ago, and I stopped using it, and I think I deleted it, but you had a certain amount of time to recover it, and I just missed the cutoff time because I didn't use it for like 3 months or something. And then I tried to get it back, and somebody else had already claimed it. So whatever. That's why it's at DeHuff Podcast, which is fine. But I tried to do a cleanse on social media. It's just so hard. And then going, it's just like people want to argue about everything. It's like, you don't fucking know. Who am I going to trust? Who am I going to trust? A snake expert who makes a living off of it? Or Doug from down the street who used to go camping with his weird uncle? Which one? Weird uncle guy, right? No. Now, there's a small chance that, because it wasn't the best picture, but there's a small chance Chad was mistaken. But to be honest, if that was on, a betting platform, I'd bet with Chad. Okay? That's where I would go. I lean on his knowledge more than I lean on Joe Schmo's. Fuck. God. This drove me nuts. I can't believe this. I'm not one that can hold my booze very well. I've told you stories about where next thing I know, I'm like, oh shit, I'm drunk. That happened like a year ago when my buddy came over. Still bugs me that happened to me. But anyway, I'm not known for holding my booze. So I usually stop at like, say, 2 drinks, just in case, especially now that I have kids. But this is the headline. A thief was seen stealing a casket with a body still inside. And they told cops that she blacked out from drinking 6 beers. Those beers better be like some really high-end beers that really fucked you up. I've never blacked out after having 6 beers. I've drank 6 beers. And based on the video, it's not like she was like tiny. Looked like she could handle some booze. That's ridiculous. Come on. And even if you were really hammered, that's still on you, okay? That's still on you for making a bad life decision. I don't care how drunk you are, how sober you are. There is never a moment where the conversation goes from, I'm bored. You know what we should do? What? Let's go steal a casket. That's a great idea. What if there's a body in there? So, score, right? Am I right? Maybe we'll just sell the organs online. Or the body parts. Bring a saw. That's just so twisted. Don't blame that on the booze. That's just you making a bad life choice. Just so wrong. My goodness. I should be a life coach for some people. Which, by the way, I think life coaches are a tad of a joke based on the few that I've met. But some of you might be good at it, and I could probably benefit from you. But But this person is just what a dumb idea. 6 beers too. You can't blame it on 6 beers. Unless you chug them all at once. Maybe you can say you were blackout drunk. But, I mean, 6 beers still doesn't excuse you from stealing a casket. Where's Aunt Carol? She's supposed to be at this family barbecue. Oh, boy, you didn't hear, did you? What's up with Aunt Carol? She got arrested. For what? She apparently got blackout drunk off of 6 beers and stole a casket with a body in it. Classic Aunt Carol. Yeah, that scamp. What a rascal, stealing dead bodies. Son of a bitch. Hey, you guys remember yesterday we talked about that guy, Jim Dreyer, who nicknamed himself the Shark, and he was trying to swim across Lake Michigan. Well, apparently, maybe he was listening to the show on his earbuds or something while he was swimming, because motherfucker gave up right after I did the show. He quit. Apparently, this is what he said. There were only 2 good hours in this 40-hour swim. If you were watching the tracker, I promise I wasn't drunk. We will talk after a sleep marathon. Thank you all for the support, your love, and your prayers. This is like the 4th time he's attempted to do this. He's done it once. Dude, come on, man. It's now if there's ever any sort of charity attached to this, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, dude, come on, man. What are you doing? No, nobody's going to get behind you. The more times you try and fail at this, Shark, okay? And I'm guessing that's why he quit, was actually because he was embarrassed, because I was making fun of him. He's like, I'm not really a shark, am I? No, I'm a quitter. Well, yeah, you proved me right. It's what happens when you nickname yourself, okay? You fail at life. You can't keep doing that, man. Eventually, you got to realize maybe this is a bad idea. Or, listen, that being said, I can't swim across a swimming pool, okay? Good for you for being a great swimmer. Maybe you should use that energy towards something else, something a little more positive. And I don't know what the conditions are that were so bad. I'm guessing chilly conditions, because he doesn't say. But, I mean, be more prepared. Maybe do this in the heat of July instead of waiting, till the weather starts cooling off a little bit. I have no sympathy for that, especially because you call yourself Shark. I mean, I just really can't get over that. That just really bugs me. Just wrong. What's your name? They call me Shark. Shark. You know what? We got more coming your way, but first, oh wait, no, actually, I have one more thing to get into before we talk about the other thing. Remember that lady? They call her Raygun. Her name's Rachel Gunn. She was that Australian Olympic breaker, the break dancer, and she made a lot of noise because people didn't like her performance. She got like a 0 by the judges in the Olympics, in the Paris Olympics. But she was embarrassed. She was ridiculed all across the world, not just by Australians, and not just by Americans, because that's what we do, because we're really good at it, but by everybody on the planet seemed to be ragging on her. Well, she actually spoke to Network 10 in Australia, and it was like a 15-minute interview. And listen, she was ripped apart by people. And I'll play a snippet from her real quick in it. But really, to be honest, her defense is, it's just a different style. and she won multiple championships to get wherever she was at. And while some say, well, her husband was one of the judges, blah, 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 she's like, no, not to get to the Olympics. And she had to pass several hurdles to get there. So I'm going to play this snippet from Network 10 in Australia.
Do you genuinely think you are the best female breaker in Australia?
Well, I think my record speaks to that. You know, I was the top-ranked Australian B-girl in 2020 and 2022 and 2023. I've been invited to represent at how many world championships, Paris, Korea, you know, so the record is there, but anything can happen in a battle. You know, it's always about what happens on the day. That consistency shows, you know, my level. So,
yeah, so I get what she's saying. It's like she's just dropping her resume right there for everybody to be like, it wasn't just like some special favor for me to go out there. Now, that being said, she knew going into it that she was going to have an uphill battle because she wanted to do it her way and the way she likes to perform and whatever. So I don't listen, even though she lost in embarrassing fashion because she got a 0 and she was mocked all around the world, myself included. I think in a weird way she comes out on top. It's just a matter of what does she do going forward with this? Because she said she's not going to compete for a little while. She needs that mental break. She doesn't think that it would be appropriate right now for her to do it. And I get it. I get it. She's going to have a huge spotlight on her the next time she goes out. I think what she needs to try to spin this off into is something outside of breaking. The way shit works. Look at fucking Hawk Tui. We were talking about Hawk Tui girl getting a podcast after she's talking about how she likes to slobber on knob. Good for her. Who would have thought that? Nobody. Nobody. Good for her. I think in a weird way, this Raygun lady could do something like that. Spin it off into a different direction that nobody's really thinking about. It doesn't have to be the podcast world. I'd prefer it not be. But it doesn't mean that she couldn't go into TV or something else as an analyst for breaking or something like that. And as much as people mocked her for what she did, when you stop and think about it and what breaking is, it's interpretive dance, essentially. And there's several ways to do it. There's athletic ways. There's more of the artistic ways. And listen, I could never do it. I could never do it. But I think it's just easy for us nowadays to jump on the bandwagon of hate. And I think that a lot of us were guilty of that, like I said before, myself included. But I hope that she's successful after this. That being said, when you go back and watch the video, you're like, holy fucking shit. Like her trying to do a tribute to the country mascot of the kangaroo, like that that picture itself is hilarious. But listen, I can't do the sport. Never. I don't think I ever could have done the sport. Even when I was a kid, couldn't do the sport. So she's a lot more skilled than I am. And I'm sure that she wasn't, by the way, she said going into it, she's like, I didn't anticipate winning like a medal anyway. I was just going out there to have fun and to represent the country. So I think she did great with that. She's handled herself, pre, during, and post very respectfully. And if you're Australian, I would say, listen, you may have made fun of her before, but I feel like you do have to respect the way she's handled everything, considering people are shredding her nonstop. She hasn't watched the performance. She's off of social media for the most part because people are just fucking dicks. So good for her for coming out. If you find the interview, I mean, I think really what I just played is the best of it. It's a classic, TV interview. You don't really get that much out of it, but whatever. I just know that everybody watching it had essentially the same fucking thoughts running through their head.
What the fuck?
And afterwards she said this, but nobody heard it.
You just got banged.
You just got banged. Boom! She drops the mic. That's so wild. I feel bad for her, but dude, you listen to her, she's like the most positive person. So it's kind of hard to hate on her. Hopefully things turn out well for her. And let's be honest. Maybe the best idea is not to do breaking anymore. I'm just saying without saying. Sometimes just because you can doesn't mean you should. You know what I'm saying?
Right, as always.
Ken knows. Hey, one of the coolest things I get to do on this show is help promote small business. I love it because as the DeHuff Uncensored podcast gets more and more popular, the more people I can share those messages with, which is really neat. And right now, I'm actually doing a sponsorship special. I'm cutting my rates in half. And so from now until October 31st of 2024 this year, if you and your business commit to a 2-month trial of advertising on this show, you could be a proud sponsor of this #1 comedy podcast in Colorado at half the cost. That's pretty cool, right? You're welcome. Okay? I'm giving you a deal, man. Yeah. So what you need to do is shoot me an email, dehuffpodcast@gmail.com. I'll then send you over all the details of what it would actually cost you and what you actually could get for it. I basically have a menu of different things, whether it's strictly just during the podcast, which transitions over to the video platform as well, or maybe you just want to specifically sponsor videos or post videos like promo videos and stuff like that. There's so many different opportunities for you and your company, and your company's message will be projected to the world via all podcast audio platforms, plus video and YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and of course Twitch. So with over 20 years in Denver media, I'm just not some miscellaneous podcast out there. I know what the heck I'm doing. And listen, and the reason why I'm doing this is advertising budgets can be slim. I get it. We have the holidays approaching. Maybe you really want to get your message out to help punch through the final part of the year. Well, this is a great way to do it, and you're going to reach a lot of amazing people. And that's why I'm giving your company a break. So half off sponsorship rates if you commit to a 2-month trial by October 31st of 2024. Go ahead, shoot me an email, dehuffpodcast@gmail.com, and let's get this shit rolling. Oh, I said shit. Let's get this thing rolling. They're like, oh, you had me till you said shit. Anyway, hey, do you see, we talked about this a little bit before when it first happened, and I didn't really fully understand the magnitude of what's going on until recently. So there's those 2 astronauts stranded up on the ISS, the International Space Station. And basically, the vehicle they went up on had malfunctions. It's a Boeing. What do you expect? I mean, come on. And they had to transition into the ISS, and they're waiting basically for a ride home. They're stuck there because the vehicle they took up there isn't safe to make the trip back home. It can't do it. And at first I'm like, dude, that's fucked up. It was like an 8-day thing that is turning into 8 months, because that's when they're projecting that they'll be able to come back home via SpaceX. So I was looking into that, and all of a sudden, yesterday, this popped up from Neil deGrasse Tyson. He does a podcast called Star Talk. It's very nerdy. I subscribe to it. I don't know. I've subscribed to Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson for a long time. It's just one of those things where every now and then I'll tune into it. It's fascinating. He's kind of funny. His co-host is really funny, and I can't recall his name right now. But anyway, so astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, if you didn't know, um, he's a really smart guy. He kind of pisses some people off because all he is science. But he explained why this might not actually be as big of a deal as you may have thought.
Where are our 2 stranded astronauts? In the International Space Station. Do you know how big the space station is? It's the size of a football field. Now, of course, the space station is composed of modules. How big are the modules? Well, it's a volume because you're just floating around, so it doesn't make sense to think of it in square footage. But let's try to do that. It's about 400 square feet. All right, what else is true? Oh, there's a half dozen other astronauts already there in the space station. So are they marooned and stranded? Are they alone? No, there's other people they can go play with, okay? And they got food. Different modules stock different types of food. And that food tends to be regional to the tastes of the astronauts visiting. I can't imagine that the American module is going to run out of food. Keep in mind, every time a ship docks with the International Space Station, there are supplies that come on board. Space is routine.
Yeah, and if you listen to that full take, he's like, listen, even if the American module ran out of food for some freaking reason, all they have to do is float down to another module from another country and just, borrow some food. I can't imagine another country is going to be like, no, Canada, fucking Canada. They're like, I don't know, eh? That's our maple syrup. That's hard to come by, if you know what I mean, eh? Like, no. We're good. Maybe you could have what is that? Oh God, I can't even think of the beer. Damn it, I screwed it up. But it's not that big of a deal. Now, is it ideal for them? No. Like we were joking around before, a couple episodes back, it's like, it's going to be a lot of chaos for your relationships back at home. Okay. It's not ideal. I hope that they get paid extra. I hope that there's some bonus programs in there for them, considering what they're going through. But ultimately, they're going to be fine. Because when you first think about it, it's like, oh man, they're stuck up there all by themselves. It's just them. And it's just like, wait, no, they got other people, like Neil said, that they can go play with. And I'm just like, space orgy? Yes! Yes! Space orgy! Whoa, there's a lot of fluid around here. All right. At first, I thought it would have been a bigger deal. Then the way he explains it is like, yeah, come on. It's like, during the it's not even. I'm not up there. I've never been to space. Probably never will be. But in a weird way, it's like being quarantined. We all had to deal with that shit before. All of a sudden you're like, shit, you got to quarantine because you're around somebody that was sick. Now, it's not as extreme because it's just, it is the same and it's not the same. But they're around other people. They got food. They're experiencing something that very few really get to do. So I think they'll be just fine. That being said, I can't imagine dealing with that shit where you're mentally prepared. Like, I'm one of those people that if I'm going into a situation, it doesn't really matter what it is. I have to have like some sort of mental preparation for it. Okay, we're going to this store. Well, what kind of store is it? Why does it matter? Well, I need to know. I want to know what kind of store it is. And then it's just like, well, what am I going to be doing at this store? What can I be looking for? Like, I want to know. I don't want to just pop up somewhere and be like, okay, we're at, whatever miscellaneous store. It just, for whatever reason, that bugs me. I can only imagine this going, like, you're mentally prepared to do something for 8 days and you're like, fuck, it's going to be 8 months. Sorry. Nothing you can do about it either. You're stuck up there. But as Neil deGrasse Tyson said, it's not that big of a deal. That being said, he's not up there. I'm not up there. So it is going to be mentally taxing on these people. So get ready for that. They're going to be, I would imagine you'd be irritable if you're up there for that long. You're going to be craving things that you want to eat back on Earth, but you can't.
You just got banged.
Wait, I played the wrong soundbite.
You just got banged.
I meant to play this.
Stay clear of the breakfast burritos. Too much of the chilaquiles.
Smooth as butter, folks. Smooth as butter. Listen, I don't know why I played that one. My apologies.
What the fuck? I didn't do fucking shit.
Except for press the wrong button. My goodness, I am an idiot.
Right, as always.
Ken, gosh darn you. You bite your tongue, you wench. Have you ever... So I saw this and I was like, I got to share this with you people because... I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
What do you mean, you people?
I mean, the listeners, Dick. Oh my God. I figure you could probably relate to this. Some psychologist decided to overthink a common thing in life. Her name's Dr. Rebekah Wanic, and she overanalyzed how you sit on a couch and what it means for you. First, if you're somebody that is a pillow hugger, this is a telltale sign that you're an introvert. That's what she told them. Those who like to cuddle with pillows or cushions often indicate a desire to be part of a situation's background and appear much less noticeable. This is a way for you to cover up shy or self-conscious behavior, or to cover up an erection. I'm just saying that's what pillows are good for as well. If you sit crisscross, like crisscross applesauce, I don't know if I've ever noticed anybody doing crisscross applesauce on a couch. Maybe if you're like playing a game on a couch, like hide the pickle, or a card game, one of those. I could see you sitting crisscross applesauce on a couch. But if you do that, you may actually have some deeper meanings. It says it often indicates a desire to project an image of sophistication and composure. She said it is someone who wants to be perceived as polished and controlled. Now it makes me think that you're just a uppity bitch, right? If you're sitting crisscross applesauce on my couch and just looking at me, you think you're better than me because you can sit crisscross applesauce? Just because my legs don't do that anymore doesn't mean you need to sit on my fucking couch and do that, you uppity cunt. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh. God damn it. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Please pause for...
C-word alert. C-word alert.
Now, you're going to see somebody sitting on your couch, crisscross applesauce, and you're just be like, fuck them. If you're lounging back, she says those who truly stretch and take up all the couch area has to offer. Says they're comfortable taking up extra space and enjoying their comfort. I get that. Usually, if you're doing that, nobody else is on the couch with you. If you're sitting curled, like you're sitting up and you're curled, like you're You're hugging your shins, basically. This is a person who prefers function over form. Those who most enjoy curling up on a sofa do so because their primary interest is in comfort, not the perception of others who may be around, according to the doctor. To me, that seems like you got some mental issues and you're like rocking back and forth. You're like, make the pain go away. Why did the grasshopper look at me? Oh my God. Ah! My legs feel silky smooth. Stool rester, somebody that sits with their legs stretched out on top of like a stool, an ottoman type of thing, will still, while still seated on the couch, display a sense of practicality. It also shows a willingness to adapt to one's surroundings. Okay, I feel like that one's fucking stupid. It's if there's a stool there, I'm going to put my feet on it. I'm not going to sit curled up on a couch because I feel like that means you're ready for a psychotic break. If you're somebody that sits crisscross applesauce, you're an uppity bitch. If you're lounging back, that means nobody else is on the couch with you. If you do that and somebody else is on the couch and you're sticking your feet on them and they're not your significant other or a family member, then you're just an asshole. And if you're a pillow hugger, you're probably hiding a boner. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. That guy knows what I mean. That's annoying. That's annoying. I got to go to the mailbag real quick.
Mailbag. You've got mail.
Reverend Matt said, hey, note to self, don't hold a ladder for DeHuff. He's referencing one of the episodes that when I was talking about how I was on a ladder and I scared myself so much because I was on the roof and it gave me diarrhea after it. You're welcome. If you didn't hear that episode, I apologize for the image. So he's like, and it's like some gif of some guy. I think it was Joe Dirt trying to rub the poo off of himself. I'm not going to shit on you unless you're into it. Then, hey, the money always speaks. That's gross. What a gross image. Could you imagine holding the ladder for somebody and they just shit? Have you ever seen those videos that go around, security videos of like a store, and there's like some old lady wearing a muumuu, and then all of a sudden there's like just shit on the floor? Have you ever seen that? It's disgusting. Thankfully, that never happened to me when I worked at Safeway back in the day. But the things that I have cleaned up shit before, like when I worked at Safeway, it happened twice, I want to say, in the women's room both times. That being said, guys, I don't know how we keep missing the fucking urinal. It's not that fucking hard. Where are you peeing from? Maybe you need to get closer. That's all I'm saying. So, guys, it's always urine on the floor. Ladies, I had to pick up shit off the floor twice where somebody just didn't make it, I guess, or they were trying to hover and they have bad aim. When I worked at Chipotle, some dude came in, must have been out drinking somewhere, and he just puked all over the lobby. That was fucking disgusting. And then we had this like sawdust stuff that you sprinkle on it, and you just end up sweeping it up. My dog's he's down here right now, and I don't know if you guys can hear it. I don't know if you heard that, but he's having like a nightmare, and he's like, he's probably getting in a fight with our cat, Gary. Gary's half his size, more than half his size, and Gary runs the roost. It's fucking bizarre. My dog, sometimes you'll hear him whining. You'd be like, what's going on? Is he okay? Is he sick? Is he hurt? And you go up there, and the cat's like laying in front of the stairs to go downstairs, and my dog's on the other side, and like he's like, I can't go past. Can't go past. Can somebody help me, please? For the love of God. Daddy. Like, my dog would rip somebody's throat out and just chomp on their face if they came after me, my wife, or my kids, right? But fuck, if there's a cat, I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, you know what? You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Thanks for making this the #1 comedy podcast in the state of Colorado. Let's continue to build on that. Let's continue to move forward. Big thanks to Bet Online. Check them out at betonline.ag. Also, remember, if you want to be a part of the show, if you want to sponsor, maybe just be the headlining sponsor. Maybe you want to be the sponsor for headlines itself. Whatever it may be, let me know. Maybe you want to be part of just the videos exclusively. So you can do that. Hit me up, dehuffpodcast@gmail.com. Remember, I'm doing the half off. Sign up now for a 2-month commitment between now and October 31st of 2024. And we can lock something in. And basically, it's a trial run. And we'll see what we can do for you. But hit me up on email, dehuffpodcast@gmail.com. We can have a lot of fun and reach a lot of great people, too, at the same time. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe. Share it with your friends if you could, please. It's DeHuff Uncensored. Let's continue to move forward. I'll talk to you next time.